Ah, crap. Got my volume all the way up on mine. Let's see here. Okay, there we go.
Hear me now.
That's perfect.
Okay. As long as you can hear me without him.
Oh, yes, you're nice and clear right there. All righty, gotcha. Now we're good to go. So Nancy, to get started, I just mentioned before you hopped on that I had interviewed you before in early last year, 2021. But to get started, I just want all the listeners to know what Amish community you were from and what state.
It was an old order Amish in Clymer, New York.
What part, New York?
Clymer,
okay. Now,
like, right by Ohio and PA border.
Oh, okay. So you were more over towards the border of Pennsylvania into New York, that area?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, that was probably, an old order style Amish?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids?
It's like, can you hear it? It's like we are repeating.
Yeah, I can hear you. Is it like an echo or something?
Yeah, it's like repeating what we're saying.
Oh, yeah, my end's not doing that, but I've had it before, though. Sound okay?
As long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay.
So how many were in your Amish family? How many kids?
13.
13.
Yeah. 8 brothers and 4 sisters.
Yeah. Family then.
Oh, yeah.
So just to kind of recap before you go into the new stuff, I mean, you had I think it was about a half-hour video we did the first time, but you had more to share than what you did at that time.
Yes.
So get started. Did you have multiple abusers in your Amish community, or was it just one?
I had multiple. I mean, I had from the 2 brothers to my grandpa and my uncle.
So even a grandpa and an uncle were also sexually abused?
Yes. My grandpa was, because he passed away years ago, so you can kind of block that off and just overlook it. But now that I'm deeper into looking back, more and more memories are coming back.
Yeah.
And it was after that last interview, it really made me think back and look back and deeper into what my family really was, what all happened back there. And it really it makes me feel disgusted. It is so disgusting to know that is my family. It shouldn't happen. Nothing like that should be going on in a family. And it's so dark. When I look back of all that was happened behind, back then, it's such a dark, evil spirit.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't even know what to say. It's so disgusting. I was always one of those, years ago, I was always one of the weird kids. Like, they would always look at me. I could hear them make fun of me, be like, call me weird and stuff like that, because I would not I would not play in the school years. I would not go run around and play with the kids. I would not even talk to anybody, any of the kids. I was not social at all. And I still have a problem with being really social. I'm better than I was, because I've been away from it so long, but I'm still have that little bit of fear of just walking up to people and talking to them. Like, I can't make myself do that.
Yeah.
But
so when a lot of this was going on, was you able to say anything? Was you scared to say anything? If you did say anything, did they believe you?
that's why I never talked. I never said anything to anybody. And my grandpa would do it in a way where he would have candy, and as a little kid, he would talk into his fiddle with that candy. Hey, come here. You want a piece of candy? Come in here. while you're in there, he would molest you. And and that was the same timing my brother was doing it, the same timing. As a little, I don't know how young. I mean, of course, the youngest you remember is like 5 years old. So how old was I really when it started? I really wish I would know.
Right.
And remember. But it's like me looking back now, whenever it was some of the things that happened, it's like as if it was yesterday. It is so clear. It is such a memory. You will never forget. You can go on with your life and you can find happiness on the other side. But those memories are like automatically always there. They're never going to go away. It's a vision that will not disappear, no matter how hard you try. There are so many nights you want to wake up in the middle of the night or in the mornings and just pray and wish it was a nightmare.
Right.
And it happened. Because it doesn't go away. It's there. You have to deal with it. You have to walk with your life with it and pray God to help you every day with it. Because if you let it, I still have a problem with it emotionally. Let it get to me.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Yeah.
And when I think of it, I had a lot of people tell me to press charges on my brother. And now finding out more and more of women coming up to me and telling me how when I just say brother on the interview, they'll ask me, what brother was it? And the same brother did this to them back when he was doing it to me. And it just really disgusted me because I was like, the more I found out of like, how many did he do it to?
Mm-hmm.
How many did he do it to? And it's just, as of last week, it's just recently, last week, I did a beautiful Christmas card for my mom with a nasty letter in it. Because I'm laughing at it now, but when I opened this card, I was like, oh, okay, looking at the card, and I'm reading if I would have known what the letter is about, I would have been like, forget it, I don't even want to read it.
Right.
But because of the card, it made me want to read it. And it was all about me writing this book. Why are you making your family, doing this to your family? Your family. Why are you doing this? All my sisters are mad at me for doing it. I'm making my family look bad. My brother, like, they're making it look like my brother is the victim. Like, poor, brother too. He's the victim to all this. And, come on. I'm making all this up. How can I make all this up when I'm not lying about anything.
Right.
It's like, why am I lying about saying these things about her and lying about her? And I'm just, as I read it, I get really confused because I was like, why they believe in this so much and keeping it such a secret? They do not care. The first thought on my mind when I was done reading this letter was, my nerves I got so nervous and just cried. Like I couldn't even, my emotions were just snapping reaction.
Right.
And by the time when I was done reading it, I cried a little bit. Then I asked for prayer from my counselor and all. And when I was done, I was like, oh my gosh, their best thing for them, the happiest thing that would be for them right now would if I would die. They would rather I would die than do whatever it takes to shut my mouth to keep talking for what's going on in there.
Wow.
They don't care what it makes. Just reading this, it's disgusting. And the thought of it being from my mom, that's the part that hurts it because as of now, I feel like I have no family support at all. I have such a big family, and every one of them, and the way when I see him now, it's like the enemy is so angry for this to come out, for me to talk like I am. He's using my family against me to lash out at me. Every one of my family are angry at me. I would not even dare, or would not even have I don't even want to see my family right now. I don't want to see them. I had a feeling my aunt passed away last week. I had no urge to go. I was like, I cannot go. I wouldn't even be comfortable going to see my family right now. Not even at a funeral. They will say and do anything they can to make me look like the bad one, to make me feel guilty for doing this, to make me feel like, look what you are doing. My dad had a heart problems like a month ago, had problems with his heart. I didn't even know about. Now she writes me about it to make me feel guilty, like it's like, look what you're doing.
Yeah.
The brother that did this, she said on the letter that his wife did not know he did it to me, and she goes, now look what you did to that marriage. Because her wife found out.
So they really try to put the blame on you as the victim.
Yes, like it's all on me, my fault that it happened to me. That poor him, that I'm doing this now because I'm talking. All I'm doing is talking the truth. I'm not doing anything. And for me, my reason for this book is not to put my family down. I'm not doing it to lash on my family. But they feel threatened by it.
Yeah.
They feel so threatened by me writing this book because it's going to be out there, man. Everybody can read about it. Everybody can know about it. They do not want that to happen. I'm really wondering if he's not afraid that I will take that next step and it will be prison time.
Yeah.
He's afraid I won't take it to the law and do something about it. And they're all, the whole family. I can see myself, if I do that, I just visualize myself with me and the whole family against me. Because that's what it would be.
Yeah, because if they're not, I mean, obviously, what you've said so far, your Amish brother, actually didn't only do it to you, he did it to other people too as well.
Yep.
So if you were to press charges, you would have multiple people that could press charges against them then.
Yep. The saddest thing what really bothered me was she was like, my sisters are all upset and mad at me for doing this. The one of my older sisters, it's like one night in the middle of the night, I woke up with her screaming and he was raping her. But you are going to turn around and you're still going to stand up to this guy? Because it makes you look bad? Come on. I'm like, they have her so, because she's married, it's got a husband and all, so she just wants to look like nothing ever happened. I don't know how they can do that. I do not know how you can go through what you did and be in that family and make it look like he's still the good one. Like he never did anything to them.
Yeah, there's way too many of you, Nancy, that literally came out of those communities, families, where they wanted to do everything they could to protect the perpetrator and very little for the victim. So usually when they want you to stay quiet, there's a reason for that. They don't want.
Yep. It's like I can see the really using my family against me to shut me up, and it's not going to. Because you know what? I have the Word of God. I have the Word of God in my mouth, in and outside of me. And I was just reading as like sitting here before we talked, and was reading the Bible. Lord, just give me the words to, I want it coming from Him. And one verse that came out was Samuel 16:7. So God looks in the heart, not in the outside, and man looks in the outside. And what my mom and the Amish are bad at that. They're bad at that. And what my mom was writing in here too, where she mentioned over and over, she would say, the end of the world is coming. Look what I'm doing, and the end of the world is coming. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I kind of had to laugh about it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the right thing. Like, they are in fear when the end of the world comes.
Yeah.
When Jesus comes back, you're going to have to face Jesus. You're not going to be facing me. You're not going to be dealing with any of this. You're going to be facing Jesus. What are you going to do? Where are you going to be? That's their fear. We want to hope we go to heaven. They don't know. You cannot know that you're going to heaven. We want to hope because they don't believe in faith. And my mom would always say a few times, how can you say you're going to heaven yet you're not, because you left the Amish. You're not Amish, you can still say you're going to heaven. Yes, I can. I can, because I know I am. And she had written down a few times about how it's like, she wrote some things, and she would even come to the point where I was a teenager. Yeah, I had some wild times. I mean, I did some things I regretted. Who didn't when you were young and stupid?
Mm-hmm.
And she would even put those things in. I should write about all these bad things that I did back then, instead of making my family look bad, like it's all my family's fault. All this, and I'm like, they don't understand. I'm not doing this book to lash out on my family. I want it to be about God, 100% about God. I want to help those that have been through. And my most heart desire is to help those go through what I have been through. Help them see there is a God on the other side. There is a better life on the other side that will pull you through all this, deliver you from these hurts. God is your only option. He's your only thing to help you, heal you through all that you have been through. The only thing.
Yeah, well, Deli, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11, it talks about not being a part of the evil deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Well, that's what you're doing. You're exposed, shining light onto that darkness that's going on.
Yep, and that's why they're so mad, angry over me. They are so, I wouldn't even become, I mean, I'd be afraid to even go home. I would. Like, to even run into my family, right now especially, and it's best for me just to avoid them.
Right.
I have nothing to do with them right now. I can't, no urge in wanting to see them, and it's very sad, but I have had, like, I'm done to hear with it. You can only take so much rejection. You can only take so many blames on you, and so many hurts. And this letter really made me realize, you know what, I need to get used to it, because to the point to where it won't bother me, because it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse because I'm not going to stop. So they're going to keep harassing me with it and trying to pull me out to stop. And I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
So Nancy, the letter that you just got from your family, would you say that was mainly to try to silence you and not expose any darkness that was going on with the sexual abuse?
Yep. The biggest thing was how it makes my family look. What am I doing to my family? Look what you're doing to your family. How can you do this? I am making my parents sick for doing what I'm doing. Like, it's my fault. I said, well, if I've got the powers like that, I'd like to know. Like, if that was a deal, only God can do it. Nobody's got the power but God. You have His power in you to do the good or whatever. But I said, no, I'm not believing in this. I'm not. I was very disturbed. It's like the spirit that's in this letter is only to hurt me. And as I'm read it, it went right through me. Like, I could feel it. I had to cry, just scream and cry at one point. And then I folded it and just threw it away. Like, no, I'm not doing this because they want me to feel like this. So I put it away, and I prayed and I prayed. And I was like, there's no way. I'm done with this. There's no way. I'm going to have to get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of being there supporting you and try to help you through that in a loving way, as a family should, blaming the victim for why things like that happen. That's what stands out to me, is trying to do everything they can to try to silence you.
Yep. I have just the past few years, my nieces and nephews finding me on Facebook. These are nieces and nephews that I've never even met since I left the Amish. Because their family's rules is like a big no. They want nothing to do with me. Their parents. And so they find me on Facebook as they get older and they have a phone, of course. Well, I have this one nephew that just really disgusted me. I mean, I'm not putting names out there, but this was just recently, to the point where his mom told him who I was. Because he requested me on Facebook, and I was like, wait a minute, that name, I haven't seen this kid since he was a tiny baby. And now he's in his 20s, I think. And so I was like, wait, that name. So I asked him, I said, are you my nephew? And he goes, yes, I am. And you're my aunt. And I'm like, okay, we never met, so how did he know, you know? Right. So he goes, oh, my mom told me who you are. So I was like, oh, so his mom is on the other side of the phone here. So I'm going to be like shutting up. I'm not going to text him much. Because they're only nosy and curious on what I'm doing, not how I am, nothing like that. They just want to know my life, and you're not going to find nothing out. So he starts asking me these questions about my life, my this, my that, and I got so frustrated. I said, you know what? I said, I'm not answering you any questions. I said, I know your mom is asking you to say these things. I said, if she has no right, if she can't even as much as ask, how are you? Hey, how are you? I'm not answering any questions. I said, she doesn't need nothing, know nothing about my life. I said, I have 3 little boys, and that's all you need to know. And she's like, he goes, he didn't say much. And so I sent him a picture of me and my kids. And I figured that's, one good thing I can do. It's not going to bother me for them to see these my boys. Well, days later, this kid keeps asking me, and I had this nasty feeling about him because his dad was the other brother that started doing it to me. So just looking at these kids, I can't let my memories keep me from my nephews. I can't let that affect me because these are still my nephews. So all of a sudden, this kid would go, days later, ask me for more pictures. Can I have more pictures? Send me pictures of you? And I was like, dude, no. So that really made me feel disgusted. Like, why are you asking for more pictures? I sent you a picture of me and the kids. Why would you need pictures? So that right there really gave me a spiritually disgusted feeling that he is like his dad.
Yeah.
I'm your aunt, and you're asking over and over for more pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had this nasty feeling about it, and I just sent him it. I said, no. I blocked him on Facebook, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing it.
What worries me more than anything, Nancy, is, they could still be doing it to their own kids.
Yep. And I really believe that my brother that was bad with doing that to me was, he has a daughter that she's probably in her 20s now, and she's like mentally retarded. Like she's a disabled. And she was born that way. And I really believe that he's doing it for out of family members telling she, at times when she goes somewhere overnight, she refuses to take a bath or a shower, saying that somebody will look at her. So she's mentally, and if he's doing something to her, something happened to her.
Yeah.
That right there tells me something happened to her. Why is she refusing a shower?
Yeah.
And because she's mentally, not there, so they kind of have to help her. She's disabled. But she refused to. And that right there told me, like, oh my gosh, I guarantee you he's doing it to her as of right now. Because that evil spirit, my grandpa did it until he passed away. He did it until up to the time he passed away. And how do we, he's still doing it. We all know he's still doing it. A sex predator which is what he is. It's like I was living with a flipping monster back there when I was young. This little monster following me all over I went.
Yeah.
And I see it now. I see it like I couldn't even dodge him. Wherever I was, secretly he would hide. We would lock our bedroom doors. There's some more memories. We would lock our bedroom doors to where it was like a padlock. We would even shove socks and stuff in the padlock to make sure he cannot unlock that door. Middle of the night, guess who was in our room? And me and my sister would share rooms with separate beds. And that's when I woke up in the middle of the night. He was in there when I heard him scream.
Wow.
How he knew how to get in there. And he couldn't lie because his flashlight was next to our bed. So when he ran back out, his flashlight was there.
Wow. So, yeah, do you have any information as far as, because I have interviewed some victims that said that it was a generational thing. Sometimes their brother or their dad or their uncle or their grandpa had it done to them. Do you have any information that would indicate maybe they were also treated badly or anything?
I don't know, but he was one of the kids where in my family, he was a horrible kid. Oh man, he was so bad. He would not listen to my parents. No matter what, he would just come against and fight against them. He was the worst of all the brothers when it comes to that. I mean, he would even have porn books hidden around, and brothers would find it, and he would get in trouble, and my dad would burn them. Where and how he got them from, it's like a demon obsession. like an evil possession. And he was just, I don't know. I never did ask him. I never did find out if he would have. But I think it's like, again, it's just like it's like a family thing, like a generation thing that goes down the family.
Yeah.
It started by my grandpa. And my grandpa would do it to us, like, and with him, he was even doing it to me when he was older, because when my brother got married, my grandpa still lived. What happened with my grandpa was he always lived with me, our family. My grandma died way before I was born. So my family took my parents took grandpa in. Like, he always had his own area and stuff, own side, like a little doggy house.
Yeah.
He had his corners. But as we got older, oh my gosh, I hated cleaning his apartment because I knew what was coming. And my mom would always push us to go and clean his apartment every week. But every time we would, we knew what was coming. And my sister refused to, so you had to give in and go. Because I had to listen to mom. And went over, well, I don't know if she really even noticed or realized that that's what he was doing. But how did she not know? That's your dad. Mm-hmm. I have really questioned that. Are they that blinded that they can't even see what goes on behind it all? If anybody would do anything suspicious in my kids, man, let me tell you right now, I would know it. I would know it, and you better pray to God you're out of my sight, because I would be so protective over my kids. With what I went through, I know my thing is because of what I went through, so you can always pick these men out. You can pick these people out that are like that. And when I see that so many Amish men on the news, how these Amish men are getting arrested, I really kind of wish it was my brother. I do, but I know I'm going to have to be the one to take that step, but I'm kind of scared, not knowing the outcome.
Yeah.
Because right now, I really have no support. I do have the one girl that came to me after watching my last interview, and she was telling me, she goes, Nancy, you do go after your brother. If you do press charges, she said, we will support you financially. She goes, we will even they will even speak up to what he did to them. So I do have two girls like that are willing to do that. But I know my sisters would never. They would never come out and be on my side.
So, I mean, did they ever go before the church and at least get some kind of church punishment at all?
I do not even know. I don't think he ever did. And I'm just recently finding more things out that happened more back there. I don't know how they didn't know. Everybody knows about it. Secretly, they keep it to themselves. I have a family. Years ago, I have a family that are friends with my parents. And me and the one girl are actually still friends. Anyways, back just a few years ago, moved to Florida like 3-4 years ago. The one girl came to me and goes, Nancy, Dad, and we all talked about how your brother was doing it. Like, we knew he was doing it to you. And I was like, they all see it, but they won't say a word. They won't come to help me. They won't try anything to ask me or to question me or to nothing. Mm-hmm. To keep it such a secret. Even friends and family amongst the Amish, they're afraid to talk or come out and say anything.
Right.
Because they don't want to bring it out. Because our parents were friends. So they didn't want to say nothing. And somebody asked me about my dad. I said, my dad was the best dad you could ever ask for. Me and my dad were really close. I mean, he was the best. I could never brag enough about my dad. He would have never done anything to hurt any of us. Never. So it comes from my grandpa on my mom's side. And then my brother. And then finding out my brother's sons, two of his kids, my brother's son, the one that raped me, was doing it to my sister, my little sister, and she's at home with my parents right now, to the point where they have her in such control. All she does is go home and work. And my mom keeps telling her, you can't go nowhere. She's not dating, nothing. 30 years old, and she can't even do nothing because she's pretty much trapped in that house where I was at, but over. And my mom keeps telling her, we need your help. You can't get married. You can't do this. You can't do that. So she just doesn't even, just goes with it.
Yeah.
It's that guilt trip of making her feel like they need her. She needs to stay there. She has, I know, and with her she was getting molested over and over and over by my nephew, which is the dad, the brother that did it. And see how it goes down from my grandpa to my brother to now his son. And his son got married and had like 4 kids. The both parents of my nephew and my sister, my parents and the brother and his wife, they found out about this. Man, they got into a big fight, but it kept there. Like it did not go any further. And I found it out somehow, but it was staying there. It stayed there. They would not talk to anybody else because they don't want anyone knowing.
Yeah.
And my sister is in denial about it. And I know why, because she's right where I was at. She is right where I was at now. I feel so bad, but my parents refuse to let her talk to me. They refuse to. And when there's times I called, when I did call them, when there's times I did, the only way I would talk to my little sister is if she picked the phone up, not knowing it was me, and my parents weren't there. And then when she would talk, she'd hear it's me. You could tell in her voice, she's very uncomfortable talking to me. Very uncomfortable. And I would hurry up and try and question her as much as I can. Like, mom's not there. I can talk to her. But I didn't get much in her because she's like, I got to go. I got to do this. Because I can't. She was so uncomfortable. Because what happened was every time she would hang up on me, my mom would question her. What did Nancy say? What did you guys talk about? What? All the time. So I was like, she would rather not talk to me because of how mom questions her.
Yeah.
I quit writing her and everything because if I do, my mom had to read that letter. She had to know what I write to her.
Yeah. Wow. So now there's been so many victims that were obviously so scared they wouldn't say nothing. They couldn't trust anybody. I've heard that quite a bit from a lot coming out of the Amish and Mennonites. But I have it's in my family as well. I've shared that before. But now I have a cousin that got married, and he actually ended up, his dad was a preacher. And his brother, his 2 kids, one of his boys and his sister were messing around and got pregnant. And the preacher himself made his son take that daughter to get an abortion. Did you ever experience, with all of that sexual abuse, did you ever get pregnant at all? Or
I am really surprised I did not. I'm very surprised because I was older. As me and this girl that we're talking to, because we knew each other from little. And the one that came to me after she saw my interview saying how, she almost knew it was him, what he did to her. Anyways, she goes, we and her were talking like last week, and she was like, you know what? As we were looking back the year, I was older than what I thought I was. I was a lot older than what I thought it was by the time he got married. Because she was younger, so we were figuring things out about the age and stuff. So when my grandpa passed away, I would have been 16, 17 years old. So that really never stopped until I was like 16 or 17.
okay.
Was older.
Mm-hmm.
And what it hit me was I really didn't have a childhood. I had no childhood life. When I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. Well, with scoliosis, your spine. I was in a body brace. I was ended up in the hospital for like 3 days. I was in a body brace from bottom top all the way up to my back, all the way down around, strapped all the way around me, 24/7, from 11 to 15 years old. I keep that thing on 24/7. Take it off for a shower, put it back on, and that was it. So with me having that, even with that, the kids in the school would make fun of me. Look how weird she walked. Look at her, and they were laughing at me. Because we were in walking distance of her school. Speaking of bullies, when I would be walking to school, they would wait for me because I would go home for lunch because we're walking distance from our school. So I would have to walk to and from. We would go home for lunch. And every time these school kids would wait, the boys would wait on either side of the driveway because we would get a lot of snow. And they would just like wait for me to come with all these snowballs to throw them at me at once as I'm running into. And I was like, there's many times I was at home like, I don't want to go. because I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But I would never go home and say anything to my family because why? What's the point? They're not going to listen to me. And there was how many times where I was trapped in their outhouse, their bathrooms, and I would be trapped in the bathroom until the bell would ring, and I know the boys would, because they would chase me, and to just be mean and nasty.
Yeah, me and my cousin earlier's video, we were talking about that, how much bullying goes on. Me and him being boys even experienced that. There was just immense bullying going on, and that, I think a lot of kids inside the Amish, not just women, but a lot of people experience that. The bullying is out of control. I mean, making fun of each other. If you're maybe a little different, they just, they make fun of you, bully you, reject you. The spirit of rejection was really horrible. That's kind of actually why it forced me kind of leave the Amish. So it's everywhere. There's a lot of different levels of abuse: spiritual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. It's everywhere. So yeah, you're right. The bullying is pretty staggering in a lot of communities.
Oh yes. They don't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
They do nothing about it.
Right. Yeah. Well, they have no resources in place to try to tackle any of these issues, especially when it comes to sexual abuse. I mean, we're slowly getting stuff done in a couple communities. Had several of them get arrested in Fillmore, New York, but like in my own community and many others, I mean, the church, they can't get nobody to speak. They can't get nobody to confess. The church is all on the same page, and they don't want to talk.
Mm-hmm. I have such a heart for those that are going through what I did. Mm-hmm. It's like, I really so badly wanted. I woke up the one morning, I have never prayed so much. Like, I just want God to, at one point, after you've hurt your whole life for so many days, and you finally just kind of become numb. You just want to quit hurting, you want to be happy.
No.
The only way you're going to be happy is to be fully committed to God. It's going to be your only way to get that fulfillment, to get what you're desiring for your healing, for everything. Because you can't go to anybody else, not the way you can to Him.
Right.
With everything. And there's times, many times where you feel like, there's been times where I didn't even feel like praying, because I was just like, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to push yourself, because he's the only one that has the love that you need, the love that will fulfill your heart, that you desire and need, because you never had it from your family. You're tired of hurting. It's like, there's so many times I'm like, I am tired of hurting. I want that pulled out of me for good. I'm tired. And after the last interview that we had, is when I really realized, I thought all those years of my aunt helping me through what I went through, that I had forgiven my brother, because I was praying, Lord, just help me forgive him. Help me forgive him. And after the last interview we did, I realized, like, it really still bothers me. Like, it's not like I really, at one point, I was like, I wanted to lash out on it. Like, my brother's lucky he doesn't live closer to me, because I don't know what I would do if I talked to him and personally see him. And now I'm just like, I'm so ready just to stand up and fight for myself. I'm so tired of this. I'm not going to lay back and shut up anymore, because I'm so ready to fight for myself.
Yeah.
And after I was I have a counselor spiritually. It's a couple from my church, and they really pray for me and lead me on, towards God, and that's what I need. It really has helped me. And when after that last interview, I just felt so heavy and so bothered, and I just really called them to help me. And they came over and prayed and prayed and prayed and told me. And one thing they kind of told me about that I never really realized was, he goes, sometimes you forgive them in here, but not in here. And he goes, your mind, you're like, I'm forgiven, but in your heart, when you really face it, when you really have to deal with it, it is still there. Like, you still haven't forgiven him.
Yeah.
I had to deal with that still just after that interview. It really brought all that out. I still had so much anger at my brother. I don't want to be like that. I want to love him like Christ loves him. And I'm really, as of now, I'm still have to in and out. And I noticed the enemy too, just to keep me hurting. Like when he brings things out, like, look what he did, look what he did, look how it made you feel, look what he did. You're just evil person. I have to really keep on. No, I'm not. I have something special like God has. I am who God created me to be. And I'm going to be who God created me to be. Because I am here for God. I'm not here for the devil. I'm not here for my parents. Nobody but for God. So, like, you have to constantly just fight that off your mind. Because the enemy will constantly throw things at you. And the Holy Spirit will just be like, remind you and just know God's love, God's love. He does love you.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you didn't have family or anybody else to stand up for you, you had God who was on your side.
I mean, I had my aunt. I had an aunt that I had, the one that passed away 4 years ago, and she helped me through so much and with everything, and just really realized how she saved me, got me close to God and stuff. Well, when she passed away, it's like I had another aunt that accepted me too, and she would just talk to me too. Like, she had some Amish, the religious spirit in her, so I really had to watch how I talked to her, but it was just that family member that talked to me, that accepted me. So we would talk almost every day, like just having that little bit of support in that family. And then just last week, actually last Thursday night, she passed away. So now I felt like, you know what? After I found she passed away, it was like, oh gosh, now I have nobody. Like, I have no family. You feel so alone, but I'm not. I'm not.
So you're saying that your aunt that supported you, she's the one that passed away?
Yes. Yes. But in the meanwhile, I was thinking yesterday, like, well, my mom got a lot of things out of her. She squeezed a lot of things out of her about me. In this way, she can't do that anymore. She doesn't have her to go to about me. That's how she found out a lot of information about me.
Oh, gotcha. So she was able to...
Yes, that's where this stuff about this letter came from. That's where I got the information.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the best thing moving forward is to make sure they don't find out. They don't deserve to know anything. If they didn't support, they don't deserve to know anything about how your life is anyway.
No, they don't. They don't. If you don't really care, show me love as parents, and you want to be angry at me for telling the truth, why? What is the point to even find out about me? Why do you even want to know anything about me? If you don't really care. Like, she writes this letter, then underneath she'll say, love, Mom. Love, Mom? To me, it doesn't even mean anything. You can write this nasty letter, and it doesn't even make sense. It does not make sense. You got this gorgeous Christmas card with this nasty letter in it, and love, Mom. I'm just like, I don't even want to, like, to me, as of now, I put my family, I mean, it may sound harsh, but to me, I have blocked my family, like, I can't even explain. Like, I want nothing to do with them. I put my family as if I never had any. Because why not? I don't think, to me, it's like I have to block them. I have to do that to be able to make do what's best to take that next step.
Right.
They're not going to, right now, with them being there for me, why talk to them? Why? Yeah. It's not going to get nowhere. I'm not going to get nowhere.
Right.
If I continue talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not supporting you anyway, so you shouldn't have anything to do with them until they actually support you and actually have your back for once.
Mm-hmm. My biggest thing is about my parents. My mom put here about the end of the world coming and stuff. She said, "Oh, how I'm going to pray your book won't down." I had to laugh at that, and I was like, "You know what? I'm going to pray against that."
Right.
I was like, I'm just doing this for God. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing this for others, for God.
Yeah.
They don't like that. They don't like that, so.
So you are going to write a book then and get your story in a book form?
Oh yeah, I'm looking into, like, I'm doing it now. It's just taking longer than I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your family will get a hold of that and read what you went through.
Oh,
I
they'll
think
be nosy. Oh yeah, they'll be nosy. They're not gonna leave their hands off. They're gonna want one.
well, I can tell you with a lot of other victims that I've interviewed, including Lizzie Hirschberger that did Behind Blue Curtains, a lot of backlash. She got a lot of attacks in letters and phone calls and you name it, writing a book. So they don't like the truth.
That's why after this letter, after I was just like, I'm not gonna let it bother me. I'm thinking I'm gonna be facing a lot of this.
Yeah.
Because every time you do something for God, the enemy gets angry. He's gonna use your family. He's gonna use anybody he can to shut you up. Because he doesn't want these things coming out.
Right.
It's all about the devil using your family against you. Like, he is angry for me doing this. And when you go through sacrifices, you make sacrifices like this. When you go through something like this, that is the right thing. God is on your side. You can still do it no matter what. I have peace of doing it. I'm excited to do it. If it's going to help someone out there that's going through what I'm doing, I don't care what they think. My family can hate me. They cannot ever look at me ever again. I do not care. I have done nothing wrong by doing this book, putting God in it every step of the way. You cannot lose putting God in your life, in everything that you do in life. Because you have it right now. Especially how evil this world is right now. You cannot live this life without God in it 24/7.
Yeah. Well, you're a strong woman, Nancy, and I'm amazed how strong you are to push forward and not let them take you down, because the enemy always gets angry when you expose him, and that's what's happening there, and he uses your family against you.
Mm-hmm.
So stay strong and keep doing, write that book, get it all out there.
Oh, I am. I'm like 3/4 done with it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it takes longer than, it's the memories. I can write it for so much and I get kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah.
From it. It just gets, and then I find more things out, like even recently, and I'm just like, oh, like, how many did he do it to? How many did he do it to, or is he still doing it to? And I feel like it's like, I could be the blame for that, because am I the only one that can make a stop to this? I was telling my friend last week, I said, if there was one thing that I would want my brother to do, number one thing, give your heart and life to God. Get yourself delivered from all this. Save your soul.
Yeah.
The only thing that would stop him from doing what and change his life around. That's all I would want. It's right there. But if that can never happen, then I'm going to take that next step and I'm going to do something about it. Because I'm going to have to. It's got to stop. I can't sit here and think with God not being involved in it, that he's going to quit. No, it's like an addiction. A predator like that is like an addiction. They continue. Especially Amish, because they think, oh, I get away with it. And he's already lied about it before. I find out he's already lied about it. So that tells me, I had someone come tell me I should write him and confront him about it. But finding out before I even wrote him a letter about it, that he's already lying, so I was like, what's the point to even doing it now? So I never did.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to keep lying about it. It's going to steer more.
Yeah.
They're knowing about this.
Yeah.
So
as you write stuff down and a lot of those memories come back, I know I've talked to some victims that once they started writing a book or getting all those memories, more and more memories come back. And it was almost like some victims tried to block out all that pain. But as you write it down, those memories come back. Are you experiencing that then?
Yes. That's why it's taken me longer, because it's almost like it's fresh. Because you remember, because you block, even the whole thing with my grandpa, I was able to block like it never happened because he passed away. So I don't have to see him. I don't have to remember it. I don't have to. But just now, just looking back now, step by step, it's really like you always, when you feel it, when you think of the memories, when the memories keep coming back slowly, it's actually sickening. It's like you wonder how in the world you've made it through that. Because it daily it's just different things of what you went through and how your life was. I had someone ask me one time, what is one good thing you remember you have of a little Amish little girl? And I never thought of it, so I really sat down and I looked at her like, you know what? I don't have one. I don't remember one thing as a good memory of a little girl. I don't. I really don't. I had a sister that was really kind of like a bully of the family. I mean, for some reason, I always wondered why she had, like, she was always nasty and mean to me. The things she would do. And she was like a mommy's pet. You know, she was mom's favorite. And no matter what I did, I would get yelled at and stuff like that. And I always wondered, like, why was she so against me and not the others? Just me. But a lot of it probably had to do with jealousy. I don't know. Just a jealousy thing. I have no idea. But I always wondered that. Today yet, she still has that angry, evil thing against me.
Yeah.
She's worse than the others.
Mm-hmm. And are you, are you still in any type of counseling to deal with some of these feelings?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have to counsel. I had someone ask me how I need to go to counseling where they're not Christians, like, oh, no. I said, no. The counseling I want is somebody that's fully in God, that's going to keep me close to God, that's going to pray with me. Those counselors out there that you pay for, how much for? They sit there and give you advice and write this, do this, do this, do this. They give you good advice, but it's not God. I don't want counseling that's not going to keep me close to God. The only thing is Him. He's the only thing through it. The couple that I have, it was like, because they have been she has been through a lot her young life. So she's there for me. And it's like they will not do anything without praying with me before and after. And that is the number one thing you want, is somebody to pray for you. But that gives you that uplift, that boost. This is the last time you talked, like a month before. I felt so alone, like I didn't know what to do because I didn't really talk to them much. And I'll talk to them and they'll pray for me and stuff. But when it comes to this situation, you want to know that you have support. You want to know that somebody's on your side, that somebody's there for you to help you through this. But before you called the one time, a month ago, 2-3 weeks ago, anyways, it was like before that, I felt like, do I even want to, shutting up about this? Because I felt so alone. Like, what's the point? I feel like nobody's there on my side. You get those moments.
Right.
After I talked to you, it gave me that uplift, like, somebody cares. Like, there it is. Nope, I'm not shutting up. There it is. Because when you have someone to talk to that's positive about what you are, who you are, and what you went through, then that gives you that boost.
Right. That's why support groups are very important. I know when I interviewed Susie Miller, she had other ex-Amish victims reach out to her and talk to her. And you guys need all of us should group together, pray on the phone with one another, even meet together if we can, because we need to support one another when our Amish families necessarily don't have any. Obviously, they don't have our back. So yes. I think a support group is very important to encourage and pray together.
Yes, it is. It really helps. When you talk to those that have been through it, it helps you even more because they understand you.
Right.
And they understand where you're at. They know what you're going through. And we're just there for each other. We connect in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And down here, I don't really have any support right now. I don't really know how to find anybody, how to start with that part. But there are a lot of Mennonites and Amish down here.
Where exactly do you live right now?
Sarasota,
Florida?
Yeah, it's a lot of Amish down here and Mennonites.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them around that area. Maybe if they're watching, maybe you can reach out and meet up. I'll certainly stay in contact with you and pray together on the phone and help you get through some of these, because that's what you're going to need. You're going to need support.
I really need prayer.
Yeah. Maybe we can get a couple prayer warriors I know that are former Amish, born-again Christians on the phone, maybe do a 3 or 4 way call and kind of, in prayer. I mean, I tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
The demons flee when you pray.
Yes. Or more than one come together.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're open to that, maybe this coming up week, I'll reach out to you, and maybe if you're available and a couple others that I know are available, we'll just get on like a group prayer.
Oh yeah, that would. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on here. You got anything else that you missed, or do you want to share? Or?
I don't know. Not that I know of. Can't think of it right now.
All right. Well, definitely let me know when you are done with your book, and then maybe we can come on here and let people know what your book's all about.
Oh yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you very much for sharing your testimony. This is part 2, basically, because it's been, I don't know, 9 months ago, I think, when I first interviewed you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a lot has happened since then too.
Yeah.
A lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably think of some things once we hang up.
Right.
That's always happens.
When you got so much, it's hard to really get, everything, hit up on everything. Because you got a really powerful testimony with what you've been through. I mean, it made me really think if I had it made. I really did have it made compared to some of you that just went through the most gruesome abuse in the Amish.
When I listen to others that've been through what I do, it's just my heart goes out so much for them. You just want to grab them and hug them because it makes you feel so bad because you know what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you. I've always been. I had my friend when I was a little girl. How we used to hang out together, and recently I asked her, "See me back then? What did you see me at? Like, what did I, to see us?" Because she goes, "Well, Nancy, we always just thought you were the more mature one. That I wouldn't talk to anybody, and I would just do whatever, just go with the flow. I just wouldn't talk. I was just really quiet. I mean, really quiet. I was to where I was so insecure that I wouldn't even eat in front of people. Like, if anybody would come, I would go hide and eat somewhere and stuff. It was bad. I was like, I'll see myself back then, and I'm just... It's like I see this little hurting Amish girl as me, as what I was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was such a loner.
Yeah.
I'm glad I am where I'm at now. I went through that for a reason, and I'm going to take advantage of it now. Because I'm going to get the happy ending to this part.
Right. You're going to have a happy ending. God actually was with you the whole time, and He is your strength.
Yep. And through it all, and there was times where I was just... My happiest places as an Amish girl was alone, out somewhere, like out in the fields, or I would just go roam around. Like, I didn't want anybody being around me. Just go away. And you know what? I'm still dealing with that now. Like, I have a hard time. I have so many people that want to love me in a way to where I feel I can't accept it yet. And I'm still working on that part. And I don't like being like that because it's just like, it's that fear of, because you're not used to it.
Right.
It's God's love. God uses people to show you His love.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time. And if somebody really just loves me, you can feel God's loving them, and that overwhelms me. I'm just like, okay, overwhelmed with it.
Yeah.
Either emotions or push away, or because you have a hard time accepting it because you're not used to that. You never had that in the Amish. So it's I'm dealing with that pretty good too right now. Like, I'm more better than I was, but
yeah, that's basically a form of PTSD that a lot of people experience for a lifetime, because when you were so heavily rejected for so long, even later on in life as an adult, you're going to reject. You don't trust it. Even if they want to try to be nice or loving to you, you don't trust it.
Oh gosh, for me, what really affected me was in my relationships with men. Like, I have such a hard time. Today yet, I am struggling with putting that guard down. I have this guard up, like, I'm not getting hurt again. This is it, not no more. You got to put that down. You got to, let God in. You cannot put that guard up. What if God got somebody on the other side of that guard that you're trying to guard up to? You're protecting yourself when you need to let God do it. So I'm really struggling with that part at times because I can't I can't be like that. There's people, how can they come and love you? With God sending people in your life to love you, yet you got that guard up, they're not going to get to you. They're not going to, you'll never experience it. You'll never overcome what you have in here. And that's all a part of the healing is God, people loving and loving you. But with that fear of getting hurt again, you can't do it. You got to let down.
Well, you had to put your guard up and fight for your own battle because you didn't have anybody stand up and fight and protect you. So you knew you had to learn and fight as a young child. You had to learn how to fight for your own self because you had nobody else on your side.
Yep. And it's like just because I fought for myself all those years, I still was getting feel like that. You know, like you feel useless. You feel like why fight? And I think I am to where I'm at now. I see back and how I felt so powerless. And so because they have the control of power over you where even in your mind, you're not even yourself. You feel so useless. Like just do what he tells you. Because you have no power over him. Well, through all that, when you're so alone going through that, it's like now, I think that's why I'm so on fire for fighting for myself. To where, no, I'm not, I am who I am. You know, God has created each and every one of us who he wants us to be. He's got us all out there to do something for him, his work, his word, and to follow him.